Hi guys, Alex here from Trademate Sports. As you know, we have a free week trial when you start at Trademate Sports. Just a way of you guys to eliminate any skepticism you might have about the product, give it a go for free, see if you like it and go from there. We really trust in our product and we think this is a great way for people to understand exactly how it works and how you can achieve long-term profitability from sports betting. One of the problems we see is that people enter their free week with uncertainty, which is understandable, but you should be coming in with the mindset of understanding how value betting works and understanding a few of the little principles surrounding that. So what this video will do is give you guys 10 quick tips on how you can get started with Trademate Sports with your free week trial in the most efficient way possible and hopefully get you off to a nice start with the software. But please, before I start, if you can please subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you get a notification every time we post a video, that would be superb.
It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
Tip number 1, understanding how value betting works before you start the free week trial. Most people start the free week trial not even understanding what value betting is and how it works. That should be the first thing you do before starting your free week trial. You should be coming into the software not thinking does value betting work or does Trademate's strategy not work. It should be thinking more about if you like the software, if you like how it looks, how it works, if you think it works, those kind of things. They should be the questions that you're posing yourself throughout the free week trial and not looking at it from the stance of, but does their strategy work? I mean, you shouldn't be starting a free week trial with us, I don't think, unless you really believe in value betting and that it's a mathematically proven way that you can make money from sports betting. So before you start your free week trial, once again, I would just educate yourself as much as possible, understand how value betting works and how it actually achieves profitability in the long term. Tip number 2, starting with the right amount of bookies. The more bookies you have, the more edges you will get. So what we say is a minimum of 4 bookies is what you should start with, but I think more the better. If you can start with 10, something around that number, if you can start with 6, 7, 8, anything above, the higher you get basically, the more bookmakers you use, the more edges you're going to get and the more ability you have to spread out your bets across multiple bookmakers. Let's just say you have maybe 1 or 2 bookmakers. You're probably just going to be hammering them with bets over and over, and they're going to be like, all right, we just accepted this guy and now he's put in 30 bets on a Saturday or 40 or 50 bets and they're all beating the closing line. Like, that's probably going to alert the bookmakers pretty quickly. So in general, stick to at least 4 bookmakers, but the general rule is the more bookmakers the better. Tip number 3, starting with the right bankroll. So a lot of people get this wrong in their first month and it's the reason why they quit only after 1 month. Most people start with around 1,000 to 5,000 euros. Most of the Trademate team have started with around a bankroll of about 3,000 euros. I'm not going to go recommending how much you should be starting with because that's completely up to you. But the general rule is the lower your bankroll is, the more you're going to have to work, the harder you're going to have to work to be able to build that bankroll and cover the subscription fee with Trademate and also make a profit on top of that you're happy with, that's kind of, I guess, worth your time. So the general rule is the bigger your bankroll is, the more profitable you can be, but obviously you're risking more too. So you need to find something you're more comfortable with. And the reason why that €1,000 bankroll will make you less profits than a €5,000 bankroll is because we use a proportional staking strategy. So every time you get recommended a bet in Trademate, the stake sizing is a percentage of your overall bankroll. So the smaller that bankroll is, the smaller your stake will be. Tip number 4 is using our recommended presets. So I'll show you on my screen here. We have an article called Trademate Sports Recommended Presets, and it's seriously as easy as reading this article and copying exactly what presets we recommend. You will get some automatic presets that'll go into your account when you open it for the first time, but I would use these if I was you, and that way you'll be set up to basically be able to bet on everything that comes through your trade feed. And I'll leave this article in the description. Tip number 5 is betting at the right time. Now, as this is completely subjective to where you live in the world, and that we recommend people bet around 0 to 8 hours before kickoff time, it will vary depending on your location. So generally most of our customers are from the UK or from Europe. Those people can trade at a pretty reasonable time. I'd say on Saturdays and Sundays are obviously the best. That's when most sporting events are on. So anytime during the day from 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe even 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way through to nighttime, because at nighttime you can then get the US sports too. So, and then for US users, it's obviously going to be tailored to a lot earlier than that. So probably as soon as you wake up, or maybe you'll have to get up a bit earlier, depending on how keen you are. And then the other good times to trade are Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday nights, because that's when normally Champions League games are on, Europa League games are on. So as a general rule, I would say every day you can trade, and that maybe normally Mondays and Fridays are the quietest of times. So during the week, nighttime you should dedicate to a bit of betting, and on Saturdays and Sundays do as much as possible, because there'll be trades popping up at all times of the day. Tip number 6 is setting up your profile in Trademate Sports. So if you go to here, go to profile, that'll take you right here. Main things here you got to worry about is your Kelly bet sizing. We recommend 30% as it's low risk. If you tried 50%, medium risk, anything above that is higher risk. So what we recommend is a low risk Kelly percentage, so make sure you got 30 there, and a max bet size that is 1 to 2% of your overall bankroll. So at the moment, as you can see, my bankroll is just under $10,000. 1% of that is $100. So maybe the higher your bankroll, the closer you get to 1%, or maybe you want to go a bit below that. And then, maybe if you've only got €1,000 or €2,000, maybe then you want to be looking more towards 2% of your as a max bet size. Tip number 7, and I think this is the most common mistake I see, not only from people in their 3-week trial, but people who have been doing Trademate for 6 months or more, is that they don't round their stakes. So one of the things to do if you want to stay under the radar of bookmakers and make sure you don't get limited is rounding your stakes. So if I went and placed this bet at Unibet for $26, that's just such a weird amount to be betting. You want to look as rookie or as much of a gambler as possible. So if you're placing 26 Australian dollars, maybe you'll look like not only an arbitrage bettor, but you're just going to look like someone who has some kind of staking strategy. You want to seem as dumb as possible. So in this case, I would just round down to 25 and place that at Unibet. Or, maybe if you want to, round up to $30. But in most cases, what I do and what the Trademate team does is they round to the nearest $5 or nearest €5, maybe even €10. Just so they're whole numbers. And then if you're using NOK, I would be dealing in 50s and 100s, which is basically, once you do the conversion, the exact same thing. So never bet 75 NOK or 175 NOK, these kind of things. Try and round it up to 50 and 100, and you'll at least look a little bit less suspicious. Tip number 8, what do I do if I'm winning? Now, it might seem a bit weird to you, but no matter if you're winning or losing, I think your strategy should just be completely the same. So if you're winning, that's great, but maybe there's a bit of luck involved. So what I would do first is don't check your profits and losses, check that you're actually getting closing expected value, because that's what the software is all about. So think more long term rather than your first week. If you're doing value betting, you should be thinking, I'm doing this for 6 months from now. I'm not doing this for the profits I'm going to gain in 1 month or earlier than that. You want to be thinking beyond 1 month. That's what value betting is all about. So the things you should be thinking about if you're winning is, 1, variance has probably been on my side, and I need to just calm down a little bit and think long term and just keep getting trades in. And secondly, you should also be thinking about ways you can stay under the radar. So I mean, we have an article on this, and I can put it in the link in the description. The link in the description about ways you can stay under the radar, because once you start winning, the bookmakers don't like that, and they'll eventually limit you. So there's a few ways you can do that. Maybe you can place a few accumulators and look like a rookie punter. But what I would do is read the article I'll put in the description, and you can get a few more strategies to learn how to stay under the radar. Tip number 9, and it is probably the most asked question or statement that we get on our customer support every day. It's the opposite of what I just said. I'm losing. What do I do? How do I get better at this? How do I profit? The answer is just keep placing trades. And I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive to most of you, but there's a lot of variance involved in value betting. It's not about profit or loss, unfortunately. It's about getting expected value. It's about betting at 2.0 in odds, but the true odds were 1.9 or 1.8. Taking those little pieces of expected value, and in 2 months from now, 3 months from now, you'll start to see them pile up, and you'll be profitable long term. So, as I said, if you're winning or losing, it's the same. Just keep placing trades. Just double check that you are getting closing expected value, that you are beating the closing line, which you'll be able to see in your trade feed or the app. And that's all I can really say. Just keep educating yourself on concepts like variance, the law of large numbers, how to reduce your variance, at what point has variance played out. There's so many articles we have on our blog to help you out with those concepts. So that should help. Tip number 10, quite similar to the last one. Just keep educating yourself over and over. We've got so many great resources for you guys to use. We've got our podcast, which is reasonably advanced, but after you use a couple of months of Trademate, you should understand some of these concepts. Got our ebooks. For me personally, that was the best thing that I used to get me started and really opened my mind up to what profitable betting looks like. And we have so many other great resources, like our YouTube channel, like this, always giving out as much free information as possible. So tip number 10, just keep educating yourself and really understanding the process. And no doubt you'll be one of the 1 or 2% of people that are profitable from sports betting long term. And that's all for today, guys. I hope that video helps you out and gets you started with Trademate Sports very well. And as always, please make sure that you like the video if you did like it. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get a notification every time we post a video like this. See you guys next time.